What is up, everybody? You are here with Courtney.
I'm Sean.
We're with Hill City Paranormal,
What's up?
HCP Paranormal Podcast. And we are so excited tonight. We have joining us Psychic Medium Kim Sage with Sacred Sage Healing. So everybody say hi to Kim.
What's up, Kim? Good to see you again.
Yeah, we have had the pleasure. She's also a paranormal investigator, you guys. So we have had the pleasure.
FPRI, right?
Yeah, she is.
Shout out FPRI.
That's right.
Yeah, FPRI. I got our buddy on.
I see it.
Awesome group, by the way.
Sean probably has his. Nope, he doesn't have his Hill City Paranormal. Oh, he's got his Hill City Paranormal hat
on.
I am repping the Conjuring over here. Let's see. Shayla. Hi, Kim. D. Hello, everybody. Ronnie Rickard. Hi, guys. Hi, Kim. Yay, we got everybody in here to visit Kim.
Yeah.
So we have had the pleasure of investigating with Kim, and that is my first experience in 13 years of actually sitting down and investigating with a psychic medium.
Sorry, I got to sneeze. my German Shepherd's in here making me sneeze.
And it was interesting to me. It really was, because I don't know. I wasn't trying to be a creeper, but I don't know if you saw me. I was staring at you a lot because I was trying to see how you operated. How does a psychic medium operate during a paranormal investigation? Hi, Shonda.
Well, and Belgrove is kind of different because Belgrove is like a second home to me, right? So I kind of forget that people, when we do public investigations for other, that it's their first time there, but I know all the spirits there. So Belgrove, I'm a little bit more subdued and a little bit more relaxed than going into a place that's brand new to me.
Right.
So yeah, so mainly at Belgrove, I'll come in and I'm not one to be walking in a room and going, oh, I feel something over here, or oh, I feel something over here. I don't do that. So I just kind of open up, call it your power center, open up my energy to spread the room and kind of feel out, is anyone in here? But I think mainly when we were together, it's I always feel them out. They're really shy in the beginning at Belgrove, so they usually stay in the other room. So it's always feeling them kind of be on the outskirts of the room and making their way in.
Well, I thought it was definitely cool. And I was watching, like I said, I was watching how you operated, and I totally respect how you communicated with the spirits there. The questions that you asked were definitely centered to Belgrove. Like you said, of course, that's natural because you know all the spirits there. And of course, I'm a Google queen. Anybody who knows me knows if I don't know the information, I'm going to get on Google. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to figure it out. So when you asked about the shoe in the rafters, I was like, what the hell is this woman? I was sitting there all right, I'm going to figure out why there's a shoe in the rafters. Of course, I got absolutely no information on Google. I didn't.
Oh,
so
wow.
I've been waiting all this time to ask you about the shoe in the rafters.
Okay, so when was it? Was it 2021? They started doing renovations on the summer kitchen, and some of the rafters had to be taken down and replaced with new wood. And fun fact, I ended up getting a piece of the rafter from that and making it into, hey Lois, making it into a planter at home. So I have a little piece of the summer kitchen in my kitchen. But anyway, so in doing that, they found an old shoe, a child's shoe up in the rafters, and they took it down, and it ended up being, I think the historian was the one that told us their beliefs were that was to bring good luck. So putting a shoe up in the rafters deterred evil entities and negativity, and it was more for protection. And it was and it was the slaves that put it there.
Which is so crazy because that's opposite of everything you hear. Growing up, I always heard don't your shoes should never leave the ground. Don't put shoes on a table. That was a huge thing with my mom. It's really bad luck if you put your shoes on a table or on a countertop or anything like that. So that's definitely interesting. And now you just gave me something else to Google. Why shoes are placed in rafters, for protection.
Yeah, and I know that it was done. So my ancestors are from Appalachia, and I know that it was a thing. It was a kind of old wives' tale or thing to do in Appalachia too. But the thing with the shoe there, so Michelle had put it up for a while. She put it in this nice little display box and was like, would tell the story of the shoe. Well, the spirits were not having it. They were not happy at all that the shoe was taken down. So it's been put back up to make peace with them.
So it's currently up there.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. I like to hear that was placed back. That's awesome. That makes me happy. Dee had asked, when did you first know you had a special gift and what was the experience like?
Oh my gosh, terrifying. Terrifying. I remember I was trying to think back to like my first experiences, and it was probably like around 5. The typical, like I would be woken up in the middle of the night multiple times, and I would just lay there knowing I wasn't alone. Like just knowing I wasn't alone. And then I remember being around 8, somewhere between 8 and 10, it really ramped up, and I was seeing things in my room all the time. I would see my closet door open. I would see it close. I got to where I was listening to the TV. Like I left the TV on all night, so I didn't feel like I was alone. And then that was my whole childhood. My home, my mom was a habitual buyer of antiques. So now I know that's probably where most of the stuff came from.
Yeah.
She would go antiquing, and we had one of those living rooms that you just don't go into because it was the fancy living room with all the
That's
antiques.
Right.
So yeah. Yeah. So I'm sure all the
that's right. Yeah. You better not sit on that sofa.
yes. Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of the energy came with those items, but for me, it was a scary experience because especially growing up in the 80s and 90s, like you didn't talk about it. You didn't have anybody to talk about it to. So it was kind of something I just kept to myself until I was older and an adult, and my brother, who's older than me, we got to talking about something, and he was like, oh, you used to hear that too? And I'm like, oh my God, you heard it too? So we were both experiencing the same things growing up. We just never talked about it.
Right. Because that's just a taboo subject, and your parents would just totally think you were crazy, right?
Right.
So fast forwarding to 2024, does your mom and dad now know about this? Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my mom would always tell me, when I started doing this, she would open up and tell me that she had always heard stories of my great grandfather being a healer in West Virginia, and his mom was known as a healer, like laying on hands. So I don't know. I believe we all have the abilities to do what I do. It's just kind of finding what your niche is and honing in on that. But like with everything, with people that play sports and stuff too, some people are just more naturally prone to be able to do things easier.
Right. I mean, my first experience with the healing portion was my older 2 sons' great grandmother practiced Reiki.
Yeah.
And that, I thought she was absolutely, I mean, everybody in the whole family just thought she was batshit because we were like, you can't just place your hands on somebody and heal them. And so when I was pregnant with my older son, I had a lot of back problems, and they kept telling me, go to a chiropractor, stay away from, don't take anything, go to a chiropractor. As a matter of fact, come over here. And she was a masseuse. And I remember that was probably the best darn massage I've ever gotten in my life. But it was very weird, and I don't know how to explain it. And I still to this day can't, but she did this thing and then placed her hands where I told her where it hurts and kind of like rocked back and forth and, told me about breathing and stuff like that. And damn, if the pain didn't go away. Yeah. I was like, that is crazy.
It's that universal life force energy. My, a quick story recently, my oldest is currently in Army boot camp. And he injured his knees. And so we were kind of like on the fence. Is he going to be held back? Is he going to be able to keep going with his, current company, blah, blah, blah. Well, I started sending him Reiki at night. When I would go to bed, I would start sending him Reiki to his knees. And when I talked to him this past weekend, he's good. Like it's getting better, and he's able to stay.
So, wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. What is your son's name?
Nathan.
Nathan, thank you for your service.
Outstanding.
We're all proud of you. We're all rooting for you. Boot camp is the hardest part. I don't know if you're going to tune into your mom's podcast.
I don't know about all that.
I think if you can get through boot camp and having gone through it, I think if you can get through boot camp, then after that, you're good.
Boot camp was fun. There's everything after that.
Enjoying it. He's enjoying it.
Yeah,
And
boot camp
they
was
have,
fun.
yeah, he said the first couple of days were the worst. But he's actually, he thrives off of structure, so I knew he'd be good in it because it's given,
Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect.
So I got a
Hey,
question.
April.
I got a question for Ken. What's up, April? So do you still find it to be a taboo thing to tell people that you're a psychic medium, or because I know, like, even with the field that we're in, the paranormal thing, it's still kind of a taboo thing, even though they have all the TV shows and everybody kind of
Yeah.
sort of talks about it. Do you find it even more taboo being that you're a psychic medium? Because
Yeah.
nobody believes in psychics. Nobody believes in that.
Yeah. No, when I first started walking this path, so I didn't even realize that I could be a medium until like 7 years ago when I started taking classes. And it was solely to learn how to manage them or open and close them per se. Because
Right.
when I was around 19 or 20, it scared me so bad I shut everything down. Like I just was like, I don't want this. I don't know what to do with it. It scares me. And then again, we didn't have the internet very much. Like there was no support, none of that. So I shut it all down. So when I started going to classes to learn about, how to turn it on and off and boundaries, I didn't tell anybody for the longest time. So now I'm much more open about it. I don't like openly, if I'm out in public, say, well, hey, I'm a medium. But if it happens to come up in the conversation some way or somehow, I just honor it and just, let them know what I do and what my experiences have been and all. But yeah, but even with the paranormal field, I've actually kind of enjoyed seeing them embrace mediumship more.
Right.
It's been nice to see that. I've been on investigations before where I could tell that there were other investigators that, but that's fine. It is what it is. I just keep doing what I do and don't worry about anybody else.
That's right.
Right. I mean, I just had to ask because, of course we believe in it. We believe you, but in our field, nobody believes half the stuff that we do or see.
Well, you're right.
So,
You're right. And that's why, so when I am open and doing medium with a investigation, we always like that dual validation, or so if I'm talking, a lot of times like the REM pod will go off at the same time I'm talking, or other machines or something else will happen. Or I remember one time doing an online or a virtual reading for St. Albans, and John was doing a EVP session while I was talking, and when he played it back, I was answering, and the child on the EVP was answering the same answers I was doing. So it was pretty neat to have that validation through the equipment too, to help validate me. So then, the people that are in the room are kind of like, oh, she's not just pulling stuff out.
Right.
that was actually happening the short time I got to investigate with you, to be honest with you. The night, yeah, that was actually going on.
Yeah,
I was like, she's the real deal.
Yeah, I'll repeat it. I was definitely being a creeper that night because I was like, let's see how she operates.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I didn't know. John said that was a wild night, wild session that night at St. Albans.
Yeah, and that was actually when I realized I couldn't go, because at the time I was working 12-hour shifts at the hospital, and so I had to miss a bunch of the away trips. But that was when I realized when they would go out of town the night before, I would have a dream of the location. And I would have so I had a dream of St. Albans before they arrived. And I saw the little boy, not knowing anything about the location at all, which is really hard as a medium and wanting to go investigate places. I don't research them or look them up for that sole reason of not wanting to know anything. So yeah, I had a dream a night before of going up the stairs, going to the left. There was a child's room with toys, and I woke up literally texting Tyler, going da 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 da. And he was like, yeah.
Right.
That's
He's
awesome.
like, yeah, it's actually a room. So that night when they were there, he called me on video, and I opened up and just kind of I allowed the child to speak through me.
That's cool. See, St. Albans is one that I do want to investigate. I've heard some mixed stories about the location, but it's definitely a bucket list for me.
It was, as a medium, honestly, I was scared. I was so scared to go, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm going into an insane asylum. I already talked to spirit in my head, right? Going into an insane asylum, kind of, so my spirit team and I actually came up with the code word. So if I ever heard that code word from them, then I knew to leave whatever room I was in or wherever I was. But it was actually pretty, it was active for sure. And it was the first place I had ever seen, I don't even know what they're called, crawlers or like creepers or crawlers. They're like black things that crawl up, they have legs and they crawl on the ceiling. Like that was the first time I experienced anything like that. And thank God Rhonda saw it as well, because I was like, what the heck? I don't even know what that just was, but I'm not even going to engage. We're just going to pass by each other.
John said it's called a creeper, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Don't start. Don't
I
start.
was sitting here and I'm laughing at myself because I said, I sat here randomly one day and I said, I hope that I don't ever do an investigation with like those creepy crawly things. And he said, well, what the hell are they? And I was like trying to explain it. And like, I couldn't get it out right. And so I sounded like a psycho trying to explain it. Like they crawl around, like they're creepy things that crawl around. So I'm glad you just explained what they are. They crawl up. Yeah.
Yeah.
In your opinion, do only certain people see those?
Ooh, good question.
I don't think so. Other people, because once I mentioned it to John, he said he didn't see it because he was in front of me. It was him, then me, and then Rhonda. And we were kind of just walking in a line. And thank God for John being there. I would have been so lost in that place. But no, other people apparently have seen it in that same location of the asylum. So I don't know.
Are they, because I've never seen one personally. I just kind of heard about them and I don't know if I want to see one, but are they like the same as, a shadow person?
Yes. To me,
like that, you kind of see them briefly?
Yes. It's almost like I saw upside down with their but the legs look like, for me, the legs look like spider legs. It was freaking creepy.
Oh, no.
And
First of all,
but they had a head. But there's no face. It was just a black mass, but like the shape of a person with like legs. And it was just passing. It was like we were walking this way and it was crawling this way above us. And it was kind of like we were just
no.
I don't even
See,
think
I'm with you, April. April said, nope. I'm with you, April. Nope. I know as a paranormal investigator, I should not be running from things, but I think if I saw that, I would probably turn around.
Can you imagine all of us together?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right. Because I remember telling my husband, joking, because one of my favorite shows is Dead Files, and I love Dead Files because Amy would always, she does the walkthrough, but she'd always tell the people at the end like how to do things to help and stuff like that. But the things that she would see was crazy, and I remember telling my husband, "Oh my gosh, I'm glad I don't ever see stuff like that. Like I don't ever come across stuff like that." And then I saw that. I was like,
and now you're a changed person. Dead Files has an awesome Spotify podcast. I'm not sponsored or anything, but I do listen to them, so I know what you're talking about. I do like the Dead Files.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know if I could handle something crawling above my head,
It was definitely one of those moments of like, wow, okay, we're just I'll process that later.
Exactly. So backing it up a little bit, Dee had asked earlier if you have a good sense of like when something good or something bad is about to happen. I guess the best example that I can come out with that is kind of like what's that movie where the Final Destination, where they're driving up the road and she just knows that something's about to happen.
So you have like that gut. It's that intuition, their natural intuition, that gut feeling that we all have. So I can tell you a good example before I even knew that I was able to do any of this. I don't know if y'all remember back in, I guess it was the early 2000s when we had the DC sniper.
Yes.
Do y'all remember that? So that was like pure chaos. And I had, I think I was I pregnant with my middle son? But I had my other son was like a year old. And so we were we were in Ashland, Virginia. And we had gone out to eat at the Ponderosa, and we came out and I had my son on my hip and something just didn't feel right. Like, and I kept looking at the woods behind it, kept looking at the woods behind the restaurant. And I just kept thinking like this ominous feeling came over me. And I was like, we just need to get out of here. We just need to get out of here. So lo and behold, later on that night on the news, they were hiding in those woods in the back of Ponderosa. Yeah.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah. So that was a pretty that would be one of those examples of like knowing, like you just, something in your body tells you something's not right, like something's not right. And it's so important for us to listen to that. Even like if you go the same way to work every day and then all of a sudden you're like, well, maybe I should go the other way. That's that internal guidance, that internal intuition.
So I think everybody, like you said earlier, I think everybody kind of has that ability. So, I mean, I've ran into a couple experiences. You know how I am with a seatbelt. I'm gonna get a ticket for this for saying it. I'm not a seatbelt wearer, and I'm not a seatbelt wearer because of an experience that I had when I was younger. And it's just, and I'm not going to get into it. If you ever want to know, I'll tell you later. But it was, I witnessed something as a small child, and I just am not a seatbelt wearer. But if you are ever in a vehicle with me and I put my seatbelt on, I suggest you put yours on too, because I just have a weird feeling, you know. And I did that in Oklahoma. Remember I told you about the ice storm? Something told me to stop in the middle of the darn highway, just dead smack in the middle of the highway. And right when I did that, the semi in front of me jackknifed.
Wow.
And so now I don't claim to be a psychic medium. I certainly have never taken classes, but I do think that everybody does have the ability if they sit down and actually have, take the time to get in tune, I guess, so to speak.
You most definitely do. Yeah.
Now you said you took classes. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a question, but I heard you also have to have like a mentor when you first.
So when I first started, I'd had a reading with the medium, and my family on spirit called me out and told her that I could see them. And so she, at the time, she was doing classes and teaching, boundaries, how to open and close per se. So that interested me because it scared me, and I wanted to learn more about it. Right? Because if you're the best way to get through something is to learn about it.
Right.
So yeah, she was my mentor for a while, and then I did other teachers as well. So it's kind of like I've learned from numerous people, but it's good to learn under somebody because, oh my gosh, especially with me, I'm so squirrel on things. I could be like distracted in a heartbeat and go all over the place. But so learning under somebody helped me keep like structure and helped me kind of like figure out what are my abilities or what are the stronger ones and work from there.
Gotcha. So is this something that you have a certification for? Are you like a certified psychic medium?
I don't know. I mean, I've spent enough money in classes. I could probably call myself certified. but yeah, but I don't.
No, I don't know. I'm just asking. I didn't know if you got like you graduated or.
Right. There's like no governing like organization for it or anything. Like you can take like in England there's the Arthur Findlay College, like there's places that you could do like actual accredited classes and stuff.
I did not know that.
Yeah, but I mean besides that I have a business license and insurance and
I mean I would say if you took the classes and you completed your course, I would consider you to be certified. But I feel like psychic mediums should have like, doctors have all those letters behind their name. I feel like you should have like letters.
Yeah, we really should, because unfortunately a lot of people in the field give us a bad name too, because, we should have morals and ethics in this field. They're just not black and white on paper. So it's up to each person.
Right.
I agree with that.
But I did not know that in England they offer like actual courses, like college credited courses.
Yeah, over there is very much more open with spiritualism and all. Yeah. I mean, they have like a ton of spiritual churches, and it's way more accepted.
Well, it makes sense because a lot of paranormal equipment comes out of the UK.
Yeah.
And Sean says it all the time. The UK is just slaying with paranormal equipment.
Yeah, I've seen some of their equipment. I'm just like, wow. And the price differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cindy said hello from Kentucky. Hey, Cindy.
Hello.
Hey, Cindy.
So, but that goes back to, remember I was looking into, Lois said some colleges here are now doing paranormal classes. Lois, let me know what college, because that's what I'm getting ready to say.
Wow.
I was interested in possibly going and getting a degree in parapsychology. And
I actually thought about that too.
And the closest college that I could find was like in Wyoming or something.
Oh,
or
wow.
like one of those states like Midwest, or
Yeah.
I guess Midwest North or whatever. So it's just not one of those things. Lois said University of Indiana. I'll have to check that out, see if they have any online courses, because I want to do it just to, I guess, better my craft.
Right. Just to have it. Yeah.
Lola said there is ones online. I'm going to have to look at that.
That's
That's cool.
interesting. I'm gonna look into that too. No, but it is because like when I've done life coaching and grief coaching and I have certifications in those.
Hey, Sam.
So, yeah.
Speaking of Wyoming.
What's up, Sam?
So, all right. So, sacred sage healing. Tell me a little bit about sacred sage healing.
I've been dying to know.
So, my last name is Sage, courtesy of my husband. But no, I started that because I had the vision. My whole life, I wanted to help people, right? But I never truly knew how to do it. So, when I started learning, taking my spiritual path and walking with it, I learned Reiki, I learned how to do readings. I wanted to do something where it was all holistic healing, so different aspects. And I even work with animals too. So I kind of just named it something that would be conducive to all the things that I do and have just one name.
That's awesome. Do you have a storefront, or is this just something you kind of make house calls, or how does it?
So, yeah, I do. Through my website, you can either book. I actually have an office space in Mechanicsville, Virginia, where I do private sessions. I just haven't been able to get into it physically since my surgery, so we're working on that. But other than that, then yeah, I do. I actually go to people's homes and walk through them and read their homes and help them with activity they're having there too. And I work with animals virtually too, or in person with healing, with Reiki and healing.
What do you do with animals? That's awesome.
So you can actually speak to animals through telepathy. So a lot of times during readings, like I remember one reading years ago, a lady brought just a picture of her horse to me. And just from the picture of her horse, I was able to tap in and give her suggestions on what was going on with the horse. And she did it and it helped. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually a thing. but yeah, so with animals, it's like speaking to them. So say you were speaking to your dog and you told them to stop. When you say stop in your head, you envision a stop sign. So you're projecting that image to your dog. So you're using pictures with your words to project energetically to the animals. So yeah. So if you ever see me at the zoo, just standing there for a really long time in front of
So, all right, write that down. We need to go to the zoo with him. I've got to.
I am definitely there trying to talk to the animals and see if they react.
So in our household, we might be psycho, we don't know, but we have given our dogs voices. We talk to our dogs all the time. They have certain voices. Our German Shepherd is very bougie. She wears scarves. We call her little at night, like her fur right here gets really loose and soft. So we call her scarf. So I think in our case, though, I think we might just be crazy.
German Shepherd is bougie.
We're kind of up in the air right now. Does she talk? Did we determine if she talks in a British accent? So
Keep on talking. Some people with white.
But you know what the funny thing is? My pets, I can't do it with my pets, or they don't pay attention to me. It must be like the mom, the parent thing. They just don't want to listen. But my own pets, I don't do it with. I can do other people's pets, but not my own.
I'm gonna have to call in and just have this done with Zuko and Athena. I just want to see. I just want to see.
Especially Athena.
Yeah, I think it's great. Our dogs, we're total dog lovers. We're animal lovers, period. And I just think each animal has its own personality.
Oh my gosh, they do. And they come through on readings too. If they've crossed over, they'll come through on medium readings that I do. And sometimes they'll give me, so I do validation when I do readings, right? So when I connect with the spirit, I like for them to validate give me information that I wouldn't know that, your loved one would be able to validate you with. So with animals, it's funny. I remember one, a couple of months ago was one of them, I was like, he keeps showing me Cheetos. What is up with Cheetos? She started laughing and saying that her mom would feed her dog Cheetos all the time.
See, it's always the grandma that does something.
I'm glad April posted that because just to let us know that we're not completely crazy, because we do give our dogs voices.
We do. We really do. I don't know if I don't have a life. I'm not sure.
Deep down, I've not tried that yet, but definitely. When our dog Zeus died, it was weird because I would see him right after he died. Like I would glance out the corner of my eye and I'd see him walk around the corners and stuff like that.
And you could hear his nails on the hardwood.
That was very painful to me because Zeus was there when I was having some hard times in my life.
Yeah.
And I would literally talk to Zeus like a human. All the time. So like when he died, it was very painful. It was very sudden. We didn't expect him.
No.
Like 1 minute he was playing with me and running around, and the next minute he was just gone. So right when he died, we would see him a lot. So that was a good suggestion.
Yeah. They do it in dreams too, just like our human friends and family that have passed over. But yeah, one night it was crazy. Scared the bejeebies out of me because look, right, I'm used to talking to spirit in my head, so when they do things physically, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing in my room? But anyways, long story short, one night I was going to bed. My cats aren't allowed in the room at night because my husband doesn't like them to be in the room at night because they don't go sleep at night. But anyway, so I was laying there trying to go to sleep, and I felt a cat jump on the bed and walk up towards me. And I was like, oh, I must have trapped one of the cats in the room. So I got up, looked under the bed, looked around the room, opened the door. My cats are in the hallway. So it was one of my ghost cats. It was one of my cats that have passed over. I'm pretty sure it was my cat I had for like almost 17 years. So I'm pretty sure it was him.
Wow.
But it was clear as day. I felt the cat jump up on the bed, and it was dark because I was laying there trying to go to sleep, and you feel those little paws walking towards you and then nothing being there.
Somebody's eating something on the floor. Okay. April wants to know if you do readings virtually of loved ones who have passed on.
I do. So if you check my website, it's www.kimsage.info. I have all my information on there. I don't have my booking up for virtual yet because I'm still healing from surgery. So I'm trying to, if you message me, I can work you in, but I've been trying to take it slow before kind of like going back full steam ahead.
Sure. Cindy, I've become an introvert lately because in public, spirits will not leave me alone because they have things to say to loved ones. I have MS. It's hard enough to concentrate on my wheelchair and grocery list.
Right. So you have to start putting boundaries there. So I am not one, when I work per se, I say it's turning on, but I just have this little ritual I do with my spirit team to, okay, I'm communicating now. And when I'm done, that communication's gone. I'll still pick up on things, but I'm not working. So you have to make sure spirit's respecting you as well, because when they see somebody open, oh, you're like a light. So you're going to be attracting, you have a hard time sleeping. There's all kinds of things. So you need to make sure you put boundaries in and tell them like, look, I don't want to talk to you right now.
So so I know you said that you learned how to open and close. Is that what you're talking about? Just setting your boundaries? I know during our investigation, you said set the intention, whatever. So how does one close that boundary?
So I work through my chakras. So I don't know if you're familiar with chakras, but we have 7 main chakras that are energy centers, all the way from our tailbone up to the top of our head. And they all correlate with different aspects of our energy and of our body. So when I work, I set the intentions of amplifying those and making sure there are no blockages and all of that, and telling spirit that, I'm here now for direct downloads, like images, like however, because I tell people it's like playing charades with spirit. I never know how they're going to communicate until I do the reading. So they could be like flashing me pictures in my peripheral, or I hear things. So I do that. And then when I'm done, I literally envision like a light switch, like dimmer, turning down my chakras as I go. And for me, that's my intention and indication that I'm not working anymore. So, and I cut cords. So I cut energetic cords a lot too, with Archangel Michael, because you don't realize everything's energy, right? So even going paranormal investigating, y'all need to be mindful of cutting those energetic cords. because you pick up energy from people unintentionally. And then if you don't like maintain cutting those cords, you'll start keeping other people's gunk. Like you'll start keeping other people's energy and gunk, and you don't want to do that.
I mean, I feel that because we were just talking about paranormal hangovers.
Oh my God.
And we experienced probably the worst one this past weekend. We took a case at an auto body shop in Appomattox. So you already know the energy that's in Appomattox, Virginia, as is. I mean, that was like, the end of the line there.
Yeah.
And it was like, we investigated, and both of us looked at each other Sunday night. We investigated Friday. Both of us looked at each other Sunday night, and we were like, we have been so tired all weekend, just exhausted. Yeah. And we didn't even really do much. We investigated Friday, and then Saturday I think we like went and picked up a grocery order and watched movies, but we were just so tired.
Sometimes it really zaps you out. I've gotten to be where like liquid IV is my best friend, and post the next day after. It's almost like you're baby in the flu or something, because you're just laying around. You're achy. I utilize Epsom salt a lot. So salt is a good energy clearer. So even I make these sprays that clear energy, and it has salt in it. So I use those after paranormal investigations to kind of help dissipate the energy. But I take showers with Dr. Teal's Epsom salt shower gel, or the bath, and so it's all energy clearers.
So you just spray yourself, or the air, or?
I just spray myself, but I also set the intentions of telling them what I'm doing, and tell them that you're to stay here. I want to go home by myself.
Right. I mean, we always make sure, we try to make sure. There's been a couple investigations where we've looked at each other when we left, and we've been like, crap, we were so tired we didn't even say bye.
I was going to say, you're so tired.
And we always get nervous because we're like, what did we bring? Did we bring something home? I don't know. I don't want to bring anything home. But yeah, energy is a big thing. And I know we talked to Howie, and I know I did not miss your comment, Howie.
What's up?
It's crazy. Energy is everything. It really is.
It really is. Yeah.
I've had a hitchhiker or two before, and that's an interesting thing, because I didn't quite realize I do until my GPS messes up in my car. So my GPS is taking me somewhere that I had no plans of going, but that's where I went, and then it'll start working again. And I'm like, oh, okay. I had a friend that needed to be dropped off somewhere.
Wow. I never thought about that. What if when our GPS messes up, somebody's hitching a ride?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the story. But what is Bigfoot Con last year in Ware's Cave? We were going to that I was going to that as a vendor, and we were leaving to go set up, and the GPS took me, I don't know the area, so I didn't know I was going the wrong way. So we're going down this road, and I look at Rhonda, and I'm like, Rhonda, I don't think we're going the right way. Like, we're just going down this road with like nothing on either side. And I was like, it's only supposed to be a mile away, so we shouldn't be that far from it. So anyway, I look at the GPS, and it literally shows me doing a U-turn in the middle of the road. And when we got to that U-turn, lo and behold, on the right-hand side was a cemetery.
So you took somebody back home.
So I had all these cars behind me, because I don't know where I'm going, and I'm like, going slow. So I was like, I had to find somewhere to turn around, go back, go to the cemetery. I got out, walked around, was talking to people, got back in my car, and everything was fine again.
That's wild.
I'm just glad she was with me, because it's those moments where I'm like, I can't make this stuff up. I'm glad other people are witness when it happens, so I don't seem so crazy.
Right.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
I want to touch a little bit on something you said back. One, how many cats do you have?
So currently I have 3.
Because I heard that cats help you to channel like your inner energy. Like, I was reading something the other day that said that cats, the reason that they don't sleep a whole lot is because they're literally like watching the spirit realm of your worlds. And then they said dogs are not in touch with that. Like, animals can see spirits, but cats will literally feel spirits.
or
absorb them for you.
I feel like cats are more I feel like cats are definitely more in tune with the spirit energy and spirit, for sure. Dogs, they can, like, through readings, dogs will come up as saying that they see their loved ones and stuff, and they'll validate that by saying, my dog stares off into the corner and they'll start barking for no reason. So I feel like they do see them, but I feel like cats definitely more like interact. But cats are more curious too. So, and cats are much more, for the most part, cats are like have no fear. So it's,
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I end up down Google rabbit holes all the time, and I don't even remember how I ended up on it. But I was reading that's why they were so sacred in like Egypt and stuff like that, is because they would, like Sean said, absorb all the negative energy.
Well, in saying that though too, like whenever I'm sick or like when I just had this major surgery, my cat was stuck to me for like a week afterwards. So it's like, or whenever I'm really sick, he's stuck to me. So it's like when they know something's off with you energetically, they're more protective and they're more like right next to you.
See, and I wish I was a fan of cats because I feel like I need that around. I'm just, I'm not, I would do excellent with a goldfish. I love animals. Like if I walked into your house, I would play with every one of your cats, your dogs and everything. I'm not a cat fan. You got to change a litter box and.
Yeah, cats choose you. You don't choose cats. They choose you for sure. And they have their own, they have their own personalities.
Well, I mean, we do have a cat, at our other property. We got her, she was a working cat. And we lit our other properties out in the country. So we literally needed a mice catcher.
Yeah. That cat saved my life.
Yeah. And Sean is forever indebted to this cat because
I love that cat.
And I don't know how she's still alive. And I hate saying that, but we got her from the senior room. And people are
going to hate us for this.
Just like you. Well, I mean, I'll get there. But we got her from, just like you said, she picked us. So I'm walking through this whole thing. I was attacked by some kitten, like hissed at me, scratched me. It was terrible. The other room, none of the cats really came to me. I walked into the senior room. All the cats ran except for Hera. Her name is Hera. And we got her when she was 17, and we've had her, this will be our 8th year.
She was 17?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
And we've had her for 8 years.
Wow.
So she's in her 20s and she's still catching mice. But Sean,
she saved my life.
She's
my hero.
When we moved out to pursue our business adventures and stuff like that, she stays in the house and catches mice. Now we go over there every day and visit with her and stuff like that. And but I was at work one day and he called me and he said, Courtney, this cat just saved my life. I said, what are you talking about? He said, there was an anaconda in the kitchen. I said, Sean, there's no damn anaconda in the kitchen. What happened?
It was an anaconda.
So he sends me a picture and it's a snake about this long. Okay.
I would have thought it was anaconda too.
Right.
Anaconda.
So, like the cat, had it not been for the cat, it was a copperhead. And so had it not been for the cats, Sean would have never known the snake was there.
Yeah, probably would have stepped on it.
Yeah, so she beat the heck out of this snake until, Sean was able to get I think you got it with a baseball bat.
With a baseball bat.
Oh my God.
When he first called me, he said, I got my gun. I'm ready. I said, no, stop. You cannot shoot through the floors. I said, get something else. Get the broom. He said, what's the broom going to do? I said, I don't know. Sweep it outside. I'm at work,
Can't sweep a snake outside.
So, yeah.
Look, I'm an old country boy, and I believe that you need a cat around if you live in the country because you got moles, field mice. So I said, let's go to the Humane Society and get a cat. This is when we still lived out there. And I'm not going to get rid of the cat because once we move, but I feel like we go over there every day, spend some time with the cat, feed the cat, take care of it. Cat has the whole house to itself now.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with mice because of my cats.
Yeah.
Ain't seen a mouse since.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well, she does.
Yeah, she eats half of it now and leaves the other half in the floor.
I do.
She leaves its butt. She leaves the mouse butt.
I get the stump. I get organs left for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But ever since that house had we never like felt any energy in that house. It wasn't haunted or anything. And so I started collecting Civil War stuff.
Thanks to Sean.
Yeah, I turned my living room to a museum over there. And now all of a sudden the cat sits there and stares at things, takes off running at things, it gets pet by things. It's pretty cool to watch it on camera.
You're reminding me of the Octagon Mansion now. We're talking about all the Civil War memorabilia.
John and I clicked instantly when I went over there.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Carrie, they leave gifts for me. Let's back up. Have I missed anything? Yes, Dee said, do Sean and Courtney's current dogs feel the presence of Zeus's cremated ashes? So when our dog passed, we did cremate him. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that is the first thing I moved into this house. Zeus is on my mantle.
Sits right on the fireplace.
We like, he's right there with the family.
My cat's in my living room.
So we do catch our dogs staring. Like they'll put their paws on our fireplace has like a stone, what's the technical term? Hearth or something. Anyway, where you could sit on the stone in front of the fireplace. They'll go and they'll put their paws and they'll kind of like lift their head up and stare at the ashes. Well, I know Zeus isn't sitting on the mantle.
Right.
I also have deer heads up there too. So
yeah, that's why we kind of just But do you think that Zeus, like, do you think that dogs, when they cross over the Rainbow Bridge, do you think that they stay there, or do you think they come back and visit?
No, I think they come back and visit.
Do you?
Howie, that's a good question.
What is Howie's question?
Just like our loved ones come back and visit, our animals can too, from my experience. The spirits.
Howie said and I want to touch on that in a second.
Dennis Eslock and I talked about that the other night.
Yes, they did. They had a long conversation about it.
So, actually, I've never investigated a cemetery. So I've never walked around a cemetery yet, like open per se. But I feel like, so if you want to go down the realm of things more than just human spirits and like look into like the fae and earth energies and stuff like that, I do feel like there's energies that are land protectors or there to protect land or, assigned to that area. So yeah, I mean, I do feel like there could be energy for particular areas to protect it.
So I've got a theory on that, and I just want to get your opinion on it.
Hey, MJ.
What's up, MJ? Especially since you're a psychic medium, I got a theory on that, and I want to get your opinion on it. So when it comes to cemeteries, if your loved one, let's say they pass on, and the only way that they're used to you visiting them is at their gravesite every Sunday at 2:00. You bring them flowers. Yeah, that's usually what happens when people die. Is you go visit their gravesite and talk to them, and that's what they're used to. But as time goes, that stops usually with most people. Just realistically speaking, from what I've seen. But that spirit doesn't know that you stop coming to see him there, and so I wonder if that spirit will hang out there, waiting for you to come see him.
No.
So
I'll tell you these are all my experiences from for doing readings for clients throughout the years. Spirit has jokes and they'll often tell people, they'll say, I am where you are. So you don't have to go to the cemetery all the time. Like I'm there at the cemetery when you go to the cemetery, but other than that, I'm with you when you're doing your daily thing. When you're going to, because spirit will even tell me to validate that. They'll even show me things that are on there, they're on their tombstone, or people leave little knickknacks. I mean, even to the point of showing me like solar lights nearby and stuff like that. So they appreciate somebody coming by and doing those things, but they're not there all the time. They don't stay to that one little area. Also, they can be in numerous places at one time. So because of their energy, so they could be, here in Virginia, and they could be with a loved one in California at the same time.
It's funny that you say that, because I was just about to ask that about my mom.
Yeah.
See, my mom passed away in California, right. And I went out and visited her a few weeks before she passed. The hospice center had called, and said, hey, you might want to come down. And I went and I spent about 7 days with her. And she didn't pass while I was there. She didn't pass till 2 weeks after I got home. And I
Yeah.
always wondered if like a loved one that passes several states away, do they, come and visit you? Like, do they look over?
Definitely. Most definitely. And they often tell me in readings, they'll tell me their loved one's current events that have happened since they've passed. So to help validate that they were there in those moments that, somebody got married or somebody graduated, like stuff like that, they'll bring those up and to help validate for their loved one that they've been with them since they've passed.
I would love to get a reading from you sometime, Kim. I really would. Just out of curiosity, because I really am fascinated with that. It's no secret. I'll say it. Sean knows. I only have my biological father living. So I would love to find out, because I had so many unanswered questions when everybody passed, because, nobody passed from old age except for my grandfather.
Right.
And so I would love, Lois said, have tissues. Yes, I'm going to need it. Hey, Dennis.
Yeah, I need tissues too. I often have to have tissues.
Yeah, I definitely am going to set aside some time, and it's probably just going to have to be me and you, because it's going to be a lot of work.
Session. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of healing that goes on. So it's private. And I tell people that your reading stays with me. So I don't ever tell people what like personal things that happen.
Sure. Now, MJ said, as for me as a medium, there are no boundaries for them. And I guess that goes back to what we said. You have to set boundaries if you want.
Right. Yeah. That, or they can be anywhere. They can be in any location.
And does MJ have I feel like this name, does MJ have a TikTok?
So MJ does the Sage Paracon.
I know I've seen the name somewhere.
Yeah, so MJ Dixon is what she goes by. I think she might have a TikTok. I know she has YouTube.
Facebook.
Patreon. She's a fabulous mentor in the paranormal field. But she's she does a lot of talks.
Through my reading with Kim, she told me I should write my feelings when my mom passed, and my dad came through and said she's going to need to do that multiple times because she won't let go of that shit. Oh, MJ, I don't believe you have an awful TikTok. I know I follow you somewhere. I don't know if it's Facebook or TikTok, but the name sounds very familiar. I'm going to go look, because I feel like
she'll be here she'll be here at the end of May for Sage Paracon USA at Belgrove.
I think you told me about that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Paracon Belgrove. It's there after our conversation. May 25th. I got it in my phone.
Amazing weekend. I highly, highly suggest it.
Yeah, I've got it in my phone. If I can make it, Kim, I will be there for sure. And just, definitely, I think you should book a reading too.
Maybe.
Are you scared?
I definitely would like to investigate again with Kim, because that was
for
fun.
Sure.
I think Kim and I were laughing the entire time.
Yeah, we need to go somewhere new. So I'd love to go somewhere new with y'all, where it's new for me to go. Yeah,
I think Kim and I were laughing the entire time, but it was definitely a lot of fun. I remember that.
Well, maybe we could do the exchange again and have a different experience. Because, like I said, I don't think my energy was there that night.
I got a bucket list of people that I need to investigate with.
Yeah,
Kim's at the top of it.
That's cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, Kim, what is your? I do have this question for you. You do all sorts of stuff. You read tarot. You do
oracle cards. I haven't mastered tarot yet.
Oracle cards. What's the difference?
So oracle cards. So tarot is a specific set of cards, like across the deck. They're known as tarot. I think there's 78 cards, which is very overwhelming to me. So I haven't quite mastered that. Oracle cards, they're all different. So you could have so many different oracle cards. Like these are angels and ancestors. I read them intuitively. So if I'm pulling a card for somebody, like I just started doing the lives on Facebook, when I pull a card for them, it's almost like I get a direct download of what to say, and the card validates what they've told me. So that's how I read cards, but everybody reads cards differently.
I just learned something new.
Yeah, I didn't. All right. I got a deck of tarot cards, but I didn't know about oracle cards. That's interesting.
I had no idea till just now.
Yeah. And you can use them during paranormal investigations too, which I would like to start doing more and kind of experimenting with that, using tarot cards and oracle cards during investigations.
That would be cool. That would be super cool.
Yeah,
I feel like you will answer a lot of questions that way.
Yeah.
I really do.
You know, using because spirits sometimes, I know at Belgrove, a lot of times, especially early on in the night, they respond more to divination techniques. So they respond more to the dowsing rods, to the pendulum, to things like that, or even like the flashlight instead of the machines. That usually, for the most part, comes later on in the night.
Gotcha. Now, Shonda said, I look forward to Monday Motivation with Kim on Facebook. First of all of us could use Monday Motivation. So, Kim, tell me a little bit about that. What is Monday Motivation with Kim? Because I am going to tune in because Lord knows I need some.
Me too.
Right. Yeah. So I'm trying to embrace this whole social media thing. I'm trying to embrace like putting myself out there more because if you've truly known me my whole life, I'm not a person that likes to be in the limelight or likes to put myself out there. So this whole journey is new to me. That whole stepping out of your comfort zone to grow, but I've been rewarded for it as well. So,
rebranding, we had this conversation, rebranding.
Yes. Yeah. So, Monday motivation. So I try to think of things to do on certain days because I need structure because my ADD mind will go all over the place. So I need Mondays I do Monday motivation. So what it is I ask as a collective, what do we need to know going into the week? So I'll pull a card and just post it and kind of give what it means. And it resonates with a lot of people. So I think it's pretty cool to kind of give people validation with whatever's been on their mind, and they see it and they're like, yeah, that kind of, because that's kind of like the whole concept of working with spirit and all is I'm validating things that you've already known. It's just you're getting that outside validation.
Right. And I think that's what people need.
Yeah.
Outside validation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that goes in every aspect of life.
Right. Yeah.
So I also know that you do something on Thursdays. Can you tell everybody what you do on Thursdays on live?
Yeah, so Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live and I call it sage advice, but I go live and do oracle readings. So I do mini oracle readings. I usually do about 6 to 8 per night, and they're just quick. Like you pick a subject, so it's all psychism. It's not mediumship, so it's all intuitively. So you can pick like a general relationship, careers, like you can tell me what direction you want me to focus on, and then I'll pull a card and just deliver the message and then move on to the next person.
And do you randomly just pick people, or it's the first come, first serve? Or
yeah, first come, first serve. I try to make it fair. It gets overwhelming. It does. It gets overwhelming because all of a sudden you have all these people posting, and it's like, whoa, hold on. So yeah, so it's usually in the beginning, I'll sit there and talk for a few minutes, and then I'll say, okay, I'm ready to get the list going. And then people, I want a reading. And then I write down the names and kind of go from there.
So jump in there, 7 p.m. on the dot. I got you. I'm going to jump in there on Thursday, 7 p.m. I'll be the first one.
It's been an adjustment to me because going live and with going to podcasts, like you see yourself, so you're talking to yourself the whole time. So It's like when I'm doing a reading, I know the person is over here on the screen, but I'm looking at myself doing the reading. So it was an adjustment for me, but it's gotten to be where it's fun, and I'm much more comfortable doing it now.
Lois said there's 40 to 50 people with their hands up.
Yes.
Yeah, that could definitely be overwhelming.
I'm going to send a tip. Maybe that'll put me up to the top of the list.
Yeah, right. People do send me stars. I love it because I knew what stars were. Yeah.
I don't know what they are.
So people send them 1 star is a penny. So if you get like 99 stars, it's 99 cents. But the first time I went live, like all of a sudden I was hearing all this noise and I saw these stars and I'm like, what's going on? It was people sending me stars. So it was really cool.
Add up. Those pennies add up.
I'm sending all the stars. Let's remember, send stars. We're getting to the top of this damn list.
You just got to log on at 7 p.m. But we can send
log on. Yeah.
Log on and sending stars.
So, Kim, I know we're almost out of time, and I know you've got a very busy schedule: kids, dogs, cats, and
Event, like
event.
2024 is huge for events this year, and I'm here for it. So I'm so excited.
So, what is your next event coming up? Is it the Sage Marathon or?
No, my next one is I've got private investigation next weekend, and then we go to Sweet Springs on March 9th. But then in April 13th, I'll be a workshop teacher at the Trevette Clinic Parafest in North Carolina. And I've never been there, so that'll be pretty cool. I'm teaching an intuitive paranormal investigating 101, so like an intro into investigating intuitively. So I'm teaching that during the day there, so that'll be fun.
That would be cool. And what is that called? Trevette?
It's Trevette Clinic Parafest. And it's in North Carolina.
Okay. About how far from here?
I think for me it's about 4 hours.
Okay.
So Central Virginia is about 4 hours, 4.5 hours, I think, somewhere around there.
That's not bad. That could be interesting. And
I haven't been there. John and Tyler and all them, they've been there, and Shayla and Ronnie's been there too, and they said it's a good location. It's quite active. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Now, will there be investigating there as well, or?
I believe so. I believe that Saturday night they're doing a public investigation.
Oh, cool. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah, and tickets are only like $10, I think. They're very affordable.
That's not bad
at all.
And what date is that?
It's April 13th.
April 13th. Lucky 13. I'll have to put that in my calendar.
Yeah. If y'all are going, I can share the that I found.
Share it to me anyway, because I'm not locked in. We're tentatively going to the Blue Ball Inn that day. But yeah, share it to me anyway, so I have the details just in case anything falls through.
Yeah, I will.
All right. So before we wrap it up, do you have any questions for us?
Oh gosh.
We're the weirdos. I know.
Yeah.
No, I do have a question. What was your when y'all investigated at Bell Grove, what was your favorite part of it? Or like, did you talk to anybody that you really got a lot of activity from? Or like, what was your favorite part of investigating there?
Oh, I know you want to tell it. Go ahead.
My favorite part?
You know what your favorite part is. Because it was my favorite part too. I just wasn't there, and I feel bad, but I heard about it.
I was investigating with Rhonda. Shout out Rhonda, and again, FBR.
And Shonda.
And Shonda was there. We were all investigating in a room in the caretaker's house.
Downstairs.
And I had the dead bell. John and Courtney and my daughter Nia was upstairs, and I had the dead bell. And Rhonda asked it to ring 3 times, ding, ding, ding. And this was, we were all tired. Like, we were really tired. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. And Rhonda says, can you make the bell go ding, ding, ding? And that bell popped right back, ding, ding, ding. Right then.
I heard it.
So then she goes, for shits and giggles, can you make the bell ring 4 times? That bell popped back 4 times, ding, 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 ding. And I was like, what in the world? And that was just, it was crazy when it happened. And that was just really cool. Even investigating with y'all was really cool. You run into teams that you investigate with and just have energy that clicks instantly. And I thought that was really cool to do at Bell Grove. And the hospitality was great. That was just awesome that night. The energy with investigating with you all, meeting you all, but that in the caretaker's house, probably the coolest thing that's happened with a bell to ring like that. On command. I thought that was really awesome to see happen. I don't really get much. I mean, when things happen with your equipment, it's cool, and you debate with your team and yourself whether it was paranormal or not. A REM pod is always questionable, even when it does go on command. You always, has everybody got their phone on airplane mode? You always question.
You're debunking everything.
Right, but when a bell is ringing like that on command, it's really hard to debunk that. That's pretty. We call it gold when it happens. So that was the coolest thing that happened that night for me.
So the coolest thing that happened that night for me is right when I heard the bell go off 4 times, it was like all the activity downstairs stopped.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking dead stopped.
Bell didn't ring no more.
And upstairs was wild. So it was me, my stepdaughter, John, and Shonda, you're going to kill me. I do this every time. Is your husband's name Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, I got it right. Yay. I'm so excited.
First time you got it right.
Yes, I got it right. Mike, we were all upstairs and we had been just trying and we were just out of resources upstairs. And I had a music box that was sitting at the top of the stairs, but it wasn't sitting facing directly forward. I put it at an angle. So it wasn't picking us up in the room on the left.
Gotcha.
So it almost was like, and John, if you're still in here, you can validate this, but it was almost like something was pacing in front of the music box, just pacing. And it wouldn't quite come into the room on the left until their activity downstairs stopped. And at that point, I said, okay, let me try, a different approach. Everybody tells me this guy's mean and hateful and this, that, and the third. So I asked nicely. I said, I know you're pacing in the hallway. I know you can hear the music. Can you just take a step in this room and light that ball up in the corner for me, please? And the second I said, please, that cat ball went off next to Mike.
Wow.
And John got an EVP that night as well. So it was almost like the like energy shifted to upstairs, and then upstairs went completely quiet and downstairs was quiet. So that's when we decided to call it a night.
Yeah,
okay. Whatever it is done communicating.
The funniest thing is Shonda and Rhonda's reaction to the
Oh my
bell.
God. I love it. It was
I don't know if
priceless.
you heard it on the tape. I had to send it to you, but the reaction when the bell went off, was
Rhonda's was great.
Yeah.
But it was
love that little bell. That bells was such a cool idea, especially with the places that we go. I thought it was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Well, and Sean's been asked quite a bit, of course, number one question being a Black paranormal investigator, are you a walking trigger object? And in places like
absolutely
in places like plantations and things like that, we believe that. And it works because there's a lot of the time, just this Friday, whatever we were communicating with did not want to talk to a woman. At all. Whatever it was having no parts of me. I got called a whore, a slut.
Yeah.
And at one point I said, why do you not want to talk to women? Do you think just all women are whores? Because that word just kept coming through the spirit box. And right when I said that, the REM went off, the tripwire went off, like everything went off. And then the K2 just lit up to red.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, whatever this is just not wanting to talk to women.
Yeah.
So that's when I pull in Sean, hey, come over here.
Lois said it's our second favorite location to go to. Gettysburg, and actually we're going back there in March.
Yep, just like Belle Grove is a second home to Kim, Gettysburg is a second home to us.
I'm a Civil War buff. Like I said, one of my houses is a Civil War museum. Gettysburg is like home.
Half of the stuff that has caused hauntings in that home came from Gettysburg.
Sorry, I went to the bash.
So we actually, I don't know if you saw on my Facebook or if we were friends at this time, but we go to Remembrance Day weekend. And I got my little get up. I love it. I get to play dress up. That's what I call it. So I do want to go to the bash. I think that's the following weekend, the 9th or something like that.
The last weekend in July, I think.
Yeah. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. No, what was she saying on the phone? There's something going on the weekend of March 9th up there because Sean has a custom piece that's being made from the regimental quartermaster. And they called us last night and she said, I hope you're coming out the weekend of the 9th for something. And I don't remember what it was. And I said,
Remembrance Day was in what?
Remembrance Day was November.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going on the weekend of March 9th, but they're having a big, reenactment weekend. That's the weekend of March 9th.
And this year's my first year as an actual reenactor. Like I joined the unit. I can't wait. I can't wait to take my gear with me. like I'm going to be doing some paranormal investigation.
Oh yeah, because you're going to be triggered. Yeah, I no doubt you're going to be getting activity.
Yeah, and I'm a black Confederate too. Oh God.
and we triggered stuff anyway that weekend. Sean, I won't talk about your personal experience because that's your business, but
you can tell it.
We did have a personal experience. We were together all weekend during Remembrance Day weekend. And I mean, so you've got a black Confederate soldier and then me walking beside him dressed up, and he was escorting me and his daughter, who was mixed. And we were coming out of the hotel, and I had gotten in the car first, and Naya got in the car second. And all of a sudden I looked, Sean was standing and he was walking. And the next thing I know, he was on the floor. And I'm like, what the hell just happened to you? So I rolled down the window and I'm like, are you okay? And he was like,
laughing at me.
We were not laughing at him. It was, yes, we were. I won't lie. He was there and then he just wasn't there. And so I was like, what?
I could have been injured.
What is wrong with you? Get up.
I could have been hurt.
So Sean said that as he was walking, he said he felt two hands on his back shove him.
Oh.
And he was walking straight.
I don't go down easy either. Like,
So I think that there was a lot of stuff that stirred up that weekend, because you got to think the whole town transforms. And anybody who's listening, if you get an opportunity to go during Remembrance Weekend, you will not be disappointed. Wow. That was probably the coolest experience that
down too.
That I've gotten. I think this year it's let me look it up. It's the 12th, I think, through. Remember,
when I go for the bash, that'll be my first time going. So it'll be everything there will be brand new.
Oh man, that's in Gettysburg?
Yeah.
Let us. We should go and get in touch with our friends up there, because we got some.
Yeah, we got some
locations up there. The first time I ever heard footsteps in an actual room with me, which was really cool. I've heard footsteps in other rooms above and around, but never in a room with me, and like loud footsteps was on a farmhouse in Gettysburg. And that was pretty cool. But Lois, the covered bridge was the first time that the dead bell actually got some crazy activity with that. The bell would ring nonstop on that bridge, along with a music box, along with a REM pod, and they were all going off simultaneously.
I remember y'all saying.
And actually, I know a lot of investigators hate the SLS. I know I've talked to many investigators, and they're all like, it's a piece of crap. I still use it. I use every piece of equipment you can, because I feel like you get different readings from different things in different situations. So I panned the SLS to the top of the bridge where the three soldiers were hung during, I believe it was Lee's retreat. Don't quote me on that one. My history might be off, but I do know there were three soldiers hung there. And I got three stick figures hanging from the bridge in midair.
Wow.
There was nothing for a false reading or false map or anything like that. Usually you can, if you pan SLS, it can be tricky depending on what you're aiming it at. But this was midair. There's nothing for it to map right there. So in midair, there were three stick figures hanging from the bridge right there on my SLS camera.
Wow.
I thought that was pretty cool evidence right there.
Yeah.
And Lois, to answer your question, you said James wants to take you. How active is it? I think that 1A, you definitely need to time your trip to Sachs Covered Bridge.
Yes.
Very meticulously, because it's a teenage hangout drinking spot during the summer.
Yeah.
And that's just me being honest. We chose to go during the summer, and we went to Sachs Bridge, and we started to take out some equipment, and something told us not to. And it's mainly because the teenagers that were down there are a little bit disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I wasn't about to have somebody like grab my REM pod and run. And now, I'm fighting a 17-year-old who's out having a good time on a Friday night. So, I've gotten most of my activity on that bridge around the witching hour. So that's that. I don't know if you're a late night person, Lois, but between probably 1 and 4 a.m. is when I've gotten most of my stuff. There is an urban legend on Sachs Bridge that there is a soldier that hangs out there. And if you offer him a lit cigarette, you will actually, the cigarette will actually puff like it's drawing. And my stepdaughter got a video of it, and the cigarette actually spun in a circle on a round metal railing.
Wow.
And you could actually see like the embers, like it was being
Yeah.
physically drawn.
Drag a little bit. Yeah.
And anybody who knows, or anybody that's a smoker knows, that there's now safety precautions
On the
put
Marlboro.
in cigarettes, on Marlboros especially, that they'll go out if they're not being puffed. It's a safety precaution.
Oh.
So this whole cigarette went all the way down to the butt, and there was no wind that day or anything like that. So cool urban legend there. Now,
Suicide Bridge.
I was going to say, if you go around the other side to Suicide Bridge, there is something on the other side of the bridge that I can't explain. I don't know what it is.
Told me that. I recently did a reading for a client, and she told me that bridge, she says, I don't know how you'll react, but she says, and I'm not even that open, but she said, when I got to it, I didn't want nothing to do with it.
You do.
Now,
you get
Kim, I would love to see what your reaction would be, especially you on that bridge.
Yeah.
You're one of the psychic mediums that I believe, 100%. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're all false, but I'm saying you're one of the ones that I do know, believe. And I would love to hear what your experience would be on there. That's a bridge that even I kind of get a weird feeling.
You get a very uneasy feeling.
It's so bad that I had to use the bathroom. I was taking a leak, and I know I'm inappropriate by saying that, but I was taking a leak behind the car. I had to go. And a cat was in the bushes, but I didn't know it was a cat. And the cat jumped out, man, and I jumped like 10 feet. Like, I didn't know what it was, but it scared the hell out of me because I was already on edge anyway.
Yeah.
But that bridge has the most uneasy feeling. And again, that's another one where the bell, the REM pod, the music box was just nonstop. That's the bridge that I've heard people hearing cannon fire and musket fire, phantom cannon fire before. Right. I've never heard it in my life till that night. It was 3 a.m. And you're talking to a guy who I hunt with antique rifles. I have probably 15 or 20 authentic Civil War muskets, Springfield muskets, and I hunt with them. I kill deer with them all the time. I know what a black powder charge sounds like. This was a black powder charge that I heard that night, and it was the weirdest sound. I heard the charge, I heard it blast, and then it went away, and then I heard the echo. It was weird. It was like it fired, and then like something like if you hit a play button, like paused it, and then you hear an echo, and then it stopped. It was the weirdest sound I ever heard in my life.
I didn't even take like the camera apart. I threw everything in the car, drove up the road. I'm thinking, okay, maybe a farmer's chasing off coyotes or something. And he's in the passenger seat going, Courtney, I'm telling you, if they're chasing off coyotes, they're not chasing it off with a black powder rifle. But okay, whatever, satisfy. I drove the entirety of that road, circled back around, went over to Sachs Bridge, saw that there were 2 people investigating on Sachs Bridge, and actually asked them if they heard it as well. And they did not, because they were doing a pretty loud spirit box session. But that was the first time that we experienced phantom cannon fire, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Or seeing soldiers walking in the fields, like if it's misty, that you'll see them, like that residual energy of them walking.
I have yet to see that one, and we went out and got a dash cam purposely, so when we drove through the battlefield, we could actually capture and like go back through. And we haven't reviewed that yet. I was going to say we have yet to review that. I don't even know why, but
it's a lot.
it is. But Gettysburg is definitely a must. Remembrance Day weekend, the actual parade is November 16th of this year. It'll be the 68th annual Remembrance Day. I highly suggest, if you want to dress up as the whole town does, to arrive probably a day or 2 in advance. I had to be custom fitted because I'm a bigger girl. So I actually ordered my outfit in like March of last year and then just picked it up when I went into town. But it was so much fun, Kim. It was so much fun to just dress up and just be, the whole town transforms, which Gettysburg is weird anyway, because it's like around 8-9 o'clock at night.
It's quiet.
It's a ghost town. Nothing's open. Nothing's open. There's a couple bars that are open, but like everything just shuts down.
Wow.
The other time that I would definitely recommend going to Gettysburg is Christmas. So Christmas Time in Gettysburg is a literal Hallmark movie. They have like this giant 30-foot tree in the middle of the circle. There's snow on the ground. There's Christmas carols playing. They've got a Santa Claus that kind of mingles around the square.
It's literally a Hallmark movie.
Really, it really is. And of course, you can't help it but to walk up the road with, your little earmuffs on and stuff like that. So that's good stuff. But yeah, Kim, I know you've probably got stuff to do. We've held you just babbling on, but we
Can't help it.
And the time goes by so fast all the time. It's like flies by.
It does.
Yeah.
But this will not be our last conversation.
We'll have you on again for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we will be investigating with you soon because I had a blast. I need to get back to Belle Grove for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Unfinished business.
Yeah.
We love having y'all. We really love having y'all.
To answer, and you know what? We appreciate you guys inviting us because we had absolutely no plans that weekend. So we were just like, I had to work. I was just like, this is a kind of miserable New Year's. Who works on New Year's? But I work for a hospital system. I work for Bon Secours.
Yeah.
So that's the name of the game when you're in healthcare.
Yeah, I worked for HCA, so I totally get it. Last year I worked Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
Oh God.
This year is my holiday to work Christmas, but I'm off Thanksgiving, which is cool. So yes, I work Christmas this year. Boo. But that's okay. Shonda, to answer your question before we go, what room were we in when they called me that this weekend? We were actually not at Belle Grove. We were at an auto body shop in Appomattox, where a murder over a gambling match took place. So, which would be interesting. I would like to have you maybe come in if you have time, Kim, because I got a lot of weird mixed in that room where it kept leading towards it was an accident.
Okay, don't tell me anything.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to.
If you want, send me a picture of the outside of the establishment, and I can tap in and do it that way, and send you what I pick up on.
All right, awesome. Kim, before we go, can you tell us what your socials are? If anybody who tuned in wants a reading, or anybody watches this later, if you want a reading, where do we go?
So on Facebook, I'm at it's at K Sacred Sage. And then my website is www.kimsage.info. And that's where you book readings. Unfortunately, right now, because I'm still healing, I don't have that open. So if you reach out to me through Facebook or through my email, which is hello@kimsage.info, I work people in. I'm just not opening up my books all the way until I'm at 100%.
Sure. Understandable. Perfect. You heard it there, folks. Definitely get your readings in. Very knowledgeable. And hopefully Kim can help answer some questions, close some chapters that might be still open in your book.
Shout out to FPRI.
I was just going there. FPRI, Fredericksburg Paranormal. You guys are awesome. And again, you're welcome anywhere that we are, anytime. So please let us know. And I thank you so much, Kim, for taking the time to talk to us. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it was
a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful night.
Y'all too.
Bye.